Hello, Lakeside. I'm Bryan Lopez. Welcome to our first episode of Dspn. On this show, we'll feature our Dragon sports teams and their accomplishments. Today, we're joined by Coach Hartz and Dyln Newsome of our boys basketball team. Thanks for joining us. Coach Hartz, I know the record may not reflect what you wanted to see this season, but what are the main highlights you're taking away from it?
You know, to be honest, a lot of people talk about culture, and that's one of the things that we really tried to focus on this year. And, it's a disappointment not only to the team, but, to the coaching staff, the way things turned out. But ultimately, we had some awesome things happen. We had broke the all-time scoring record for team score with 105. Also had Dyln break the all-time record for three-pointers, as well as tying for fourth in the state of Ohio for the fourth on the all-time list for most threes in a game. So those were some big things. And then, like you talk about the leadership from the top down, Alex DeSalvatore and Aiden Hathey and Connor Meade and Kerry White and Dyln as well. They provided kind of that culture shift that we've been looking for in the program. So I would say those things.
Yeah. And speaking of that, you did have a great group of seniors, the largest class we've seen in a while. What are you going to miss most about coaching those young men?
Honestly, each one of their personalities. Like when you get all 5 or 6 of them in the room at the same time, things are relatively light. We have we've had a lot of good times, even outside the game of basketball. Having the opportunity to take them out to eat and go to see a game at John Carroll was one of the team building activities we had. So, just overall spending time with those guys, I'm really going to miss them all.
To go on to Dyln's school record, you had a monster junior season, which included a 19-point-per-game average and a new school record for three-pointers in a game. What are some of the things you did this offseason to help you really break out?
Some of the things I did in the offseason is just like work behind closed doors, work when people don't see you work, getting in the gym with him, getting in the gym with some of the seniors. So, just a lot of work.
Is there any game that stands out to you that established the turning point of this season where you got to be as good as you've been this season?
Yeah, I'd say the Perry game. We kind of did a little bit of an upset there. We played really good as a team from top down. So I feel like the Perry game was a big turning point of a shift of momentum for us.
32 points, really impressive. Haven't beaten them in a long time. Give us your thoughts about Dyln and what he's added to this team so far.
He's very dynamic, both ball handling and being able to shoot from the backside. He's always been that type of person that takes it under his, upon himself to be a leader on the floor. Even with some bumps on the road, we had some situations where, we got to know each other better as well, being the first time that I've ever coached Dyln, and we've gotten through some emotional and difficult times together, and that's going to pay heavy dividends for next year for us.
With Dyln being a junior, your team has a nice cornerstone for next season. Talk about the other guys you have coming back and your plans going forward.
To be honest, we're going to be extremely young. We're only going to have about 4 seniors, which would include Tyler Kaufman and Jason Lopez and Nick Roach, and then Dyln. So, we're going to have some sophomores and juniors that are going to have to really step up and take the reins a little bit and, provide some of that scoring that we're going to lose. We're probably going to move from, more of an inside to outside game to an outside to inside game because we're going to have a lot more guards. We're going to play up-tempo basketball a little bit more. So there's going to be a little bit of a shift, but ultimately, as long as that culture stays together that these guys have created this year, I think we'll be perfectly fine.
It's tournament season, which means having to match up against some teams you haven't heard much of. You drew John Marshall on Wednesday in round 1. What do you expect to see from them?
On film, they play up-tempo. They play a 1-3-1. That's something that we're adjusted to because we often play a 1-3-1 as well. I think that, we're going to take an approach as a team to try to figure out, how we want to approach it on defense and offense. But ultimately, their 1-3-1, I believe that we can beat their 1-3-1 quite often. We're used to playing against that style of defense. And, with the up-tempo stuff, slowing them down a little bit, forcing them to take outside shots is really what we're going to be focused on.
Dylan, Coach Hartz, thanks again for joining us, and good luck in the tournament.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
This has been DSPN. We'll see you next time, Lakeside.